Hello and welcome to this episode of the Ranting Atheist podcast. Today we'll be listening to the deconversion story of a fellow Nigerian atheist. She shares her story on how she was exposed to two different religions, and one of them is not one you would expect normally. I was like, wow, really? In Nigeria? But religion is religion. It always finds its way across the world. I won't lie, I'm envious of her because she saw the light early in life, very early. I wish I saw the lights as early as she did, but such is life. So please sit back and enjoy listening to our conversation which we had some weeks ago. Hello Efua, and you're welcome to Story of an Atheist.
Hi. I'm happy to be here.
Great to have you here. Are you there?
I'm here. I was waiting for it.
Okay. I got the one I rather not delay. See what I said how
No.
Oh, but this club has go mess us up. Okay now. How you doing? How you doing today now?
I'm fine.
Yeah, it's good to have you here. Good to have you here now. So now the listener is only knows your name now. So can we have some introduction? Can we get to know you a little bit? Know your name, your location, if you are comfortable with that. What do you do for a living? Then if you don't want to share your age, we Nigerians, we like to disguise our age. So are you a millennial or a Gen Z? So you understand? Yeah, hit us.
Okay. My name is Efua. I am 20 years old. I'm a Gen Z.
Okay.
I live in Efua State.
What do you do for a living?
I'm a dog trainer.
Oh, cool.
That's what I do for a living. I train dogs.
Wow. Good luck, see that.
So it doesn't matter the dog, pitbull, Rottweiler, anything. I train them.
So you now, you're the kind of person that when they say it does not bite, you don't even bother yourself. You know what to do.
Yeah.
Okay, that. I go like they carry you go per se house. Maybe I say, come inside. It does not bite. The dog will be like lion. Just come inside. It does not bite. Now they mad. People say, and the dog is not chained though. I die. I say I enter. They use me as a breakfast. Yeah.
Some people's dog. No.
What do they give those dogs that they look like lions? What exactly do they feed them?
Some of them are naturally like that. Some of them they eat really like very good food. The purest form of food for any dog is raw feeding, like raw meat, raw fish, all those ones.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll grow big and strong.
But that raw meat, is it what do you call it? It's very risky, Abby?
No, actually, that thing is a myth.
Okay.
Like the whole history behind that raw meat, that one's another conversation entirely.
Okay. Because me, man, like if the dog is used to raw meat, say they're not going to taste you where they feed them. Okay. Makes sense. So now, can you share with us what was your religious background like? Sorry, they laugh.
Hey, I was brought up with two different religions. I was brought up with Christianity and I was brought up with Hinduism.
Eh?
I'm serious.
Wow. Okay, continue. Carry on, please. This is sweet.
So I was my mom, my dad was a Hindu. He went to this temple. So like the way Christians, like they have churches, Muslims have mosques, Hindus, their own is temple.
Yeah.
So he went to this particular temple. They called it Hare Krishna. I think it's in Nigeria. Like
I've heard of Hare Krishna.
I think Lagos. Yeah. So I was brought up with that one. My mom was in Hare Krishna, but she was also putting leg into Christianity. It was like when I was now like 7, 8, 9 that she now finally went into Christianity. But I was brought up with those two religions.
Which flavor of Christianity?
Same flavor.
Yes, nah. Rishi.
Another thing was that she jumped, as in she she jumped different flavors. She first went to Pentecostal. I hated it. I hated it because there was this pastor that was saying fire, fire, fire. I refuse to fall. Don't push me for grounds. Waiting. She went to Pentecostal. We now later went to Catholic. I good.
Now
I
this
hated
we
the
now, is it
Catholic
you and
church.
your mom, or where was your dad?
Yeah, me
Your
and my
dad
mom.
was still doing Hinduism, or he's still doing it now, self?
Oh, my dad is no more. But
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that.
no problem. Yeah, but when he was alive, yeah, he was a Hindu till he died.
And he didn't
Yeah.
drag you guys along.
No, not really. He told us that like we're free to walk away or anything.
Can you
That kind of
see
thing.
the contrast? Wow. Yes, that is a very contrasting move.
Yeah. So then we spent a great deal in all these cherubim and seraphim church. That's in that cherubim and seraphim church. That's when I knew that there was a difference between cherubim and seraphim and Sele.
Oh, please
They're
enlighten
different.
us. Please enlighten me. I see all of them whitey. Okay, what's the difference?
Okay. I don't really remember much of the difference, but I think that time when I was in cherubim and seraphim, they told us that the Sele, they wear more of satin white.
Yeah.
Satin white,
Shine
they have
white.
a different founder. They have a different founder, but it's basically like their same belief, but different founder and some other things.
Politics.
So they say they are not the same person. Okay. Politics.
Try.
So then after spending like I think 3 to 4 years in cherubim and seraphim, we finally settled on Daddy Gio's church, Winners, and she's still a member of Winners to this day.
As the hot.
As the hot.
Hey, Papa.
Yeah.
Now you have settled in Oyedepo's church. How was you now? You are following your mom around, but what was your relationship with God? How was it? How were you feeling? How did you see the whole movement, the whole thing? How did it affect you?
Okay, I'm not going to the church again. No.
I know you are not, but I mean, we will get to that point. But while you were still following your mom, how was your relationship from pillar to post? How was your relationship with God and all that shit?
Daddy Gio's church, it has its own magic. It has its own magic. So, all those churches that I went to, they're always preaching about fire, this, that, burn your enemy, this one, that one. In Winners, like everything was like calm. So the first thing you notice in Winners was like order. Like everything was organized, arranged. So me, I like orderly places. I like things where that okay, we're closing by this time, close by this time, and so I liked that. And the preaching was nice. Everything was kept short. They just, preach it neatly. Everything. I like that. And the way they were preaching, I was just liking it. I was just eating up their bullshit, small.
The package don't be small. You go swallow am. Burn you.
Yeah. And then there was this time when this pastor came. I've forgotten his name. In fact, I don't even think I should mention it. But it was this Yoruba man. He came to Winners, Benin City, by the way.
Okay.
He came to the church. And when he came with fire. The way he came was like he started prophesying money everywhere. And like every time, people will be getting alert.
Testimony. They share testimony and Abi.
I swear, testimonies at church. So I was also like liking that one. So that was just it. The preaching to me then was nice. Like there were some things they were saying that I was like, this does not make sense. But I was like, okay, let me still,
Yeah. Good.
calm down,
Yeah.
things.
So now, currently, what do you identify yourself? Is it an atheist, agnostic, irreligious? What's your, or do you not identify as anything?
Finally, I identify as atheist.
Okay. So now,
I was
okay.
agnostic before, then agnostic atheist, then now atheist.
So now, before we start on that journey now, from when you now went to Daddy Gio Oyedepo's church, can you define what is atheism to you? What's your definition of atheism?
Atheism, to me, is a lack of belief in any God claim.
Okay, very simple.
Yeah.
Straight to the point.
Very simple.
Yeah. So makes sense. No, I like to ask people that definition. It varies from person to person. So, because some Christians will come and now like who was it again? This lady that was doing this argument that invited an atheist to have a conversation. She was saying atheism is the belief in the non-existence of God. I'm just like, you guys are just trying to create false equivalence. You just want us to have a belief so that you can refute it. They just create it's just laughable at times. Yeah. So now let's go into your journey now. When did you start to question, to deconstruct your belief? Like, what is you actually going on? When did that crack start? Take us on that journey.
I think since when I could remember how to read. So let's say like 5-6 years old that time. Because, I grew up with two very clashing religions, Hinduism and Christianity. You understand? So like I remember, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay. So like I remember, in the Hare Krishna temple, like we would worship different gods and goddesses. I got baptized there. I got my own Indian name and all that. You understand?
What's the name?
The name is Shakti Rupa Devidasi.
What the?
Yeah, it means power.
Shakti Baba.
God, if I had $1 for every time someone said that, Shakti Baba.
Can you imagine?
No, for real. Like,
you live long now. You can't blame people now. Okay, continue now.
Yeah, so like in the Hindu Hare Krishna, we worship different gods, goddesses. We had different festivals. We would perform sacrifices, not human sacrifice. I beg.
We know. What did they offer? What do they offer?
Like they would offer grains.
Okay.
Because that was one of the things in
curry.
Yeah, rice. Yeah, corn and all those things.
Okay.
And one very strange thing, they would paint the rice. Like you have one portion of rice painted pink, one painted green. Like they would dye the rice in like green dye, red, blue, pink. And would have like this big fire inside the temple, would throw it inside and be praying. All those things.
Any reason? Why did they do such?
I don't remember why they painted it to. I honestly don't remember why.
Okay.
Why that they painted it. Yeah. So I started questioning because like in the Hare Krishna, so in the Hindu religion, Hindu religion has different sects. Let me just say, in the Hare Krishna sect, their own version of the Bible is called Bhagavad Gita.
Oh yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, the own version is called Bhagavad Gita, and in there, like I remember one thing I read when I was little was that if you stand outside naked when there is no full moon or something like that, you will turn into a pig.
Did you test it?
There was one day. There was one there was one day I came out from my bathroom. I was small. And I said that there is no moon, no. And I ran inside my room to cover myself. So like I grew up with that kind of thing. Then in the Christian religion, they now said that, if you worship different gods, you are going to hell, all those things. And, I was not confused. So I would meet my parents. I would ask them, like, Hare Krishna and Christianity, like, which one is the real one? And they will tell me that they are both real. I'll not tell them, like, how, like, look at all these. I'll be like, how? Look at all these clashing statements from the Bhagavad Gita, from the Bible. Like, how do these two mix? You understand?
Yeah.
And they would now tell me that, Hare Krishna is God, Jesus Christ is God. I'm like, how? What they told me was that God appears to different people in different forms, in ways that they would. That's like ways that they would accept all those kind of things.
Wow.
So I remember they were telling me that, God appeared to the people in the Middle East or something as Allah, Indians as Krishna, so on and so forth. You understand? I was like, why can't he just appear as himself? I mean, the truth is the truth, and you have to take it as it is. You understand? They could not really explain that. And I said, okay. Then in the sect of Hare Krishna, there are like thousands of gods, thousands of goddesses, God of the trees, God of the wind, God of the flowing waters, goddess of music, God of creation. I think there are like three gods of creations, another Shiva, Brahma, then Krishna himself. Like, it was all confusing. I'm like, if Krishna is, the ultimate God and everything, like, why are all these other ones there? You understand?
Yeah.
I didn't get answers for that one. I also asked, like, okay, there were also some gods and goddesses that you were not supposed to worship, but just give thanks. And I'm like, why? Like, the whole thing was very confusing to me. Very, very confusing to me. So
I didn't even go through what you went, and I'm already tired.
Exactly. And I will be trying to fulfill what the Bhagavad Gita expects of me. I'll be trying to fulfill what Christianity expects of me. All that. And I'll just be confused, honestly. So, like, that's when I started questioning about that age.
Wow. So,
yeah.
Questioning now. That questioning back in there. Now, take us from that Oyedepo's point now. How did you start seeing, as in the whole bullshit? By the time your dad passed now, when did your dad pass?
Yeah. When?
Yeah.
2015.
Okay. So by the time your dad passed, it was your mom that was in charge of your religious exposure now, Abi?
Yes.
So Christianity was the mainstay.
Yeah. So.
So how did you escape?
Okay. So I remember I think we got into Winners ending of 2016. Let's just say 2017.
Okay.
We got into Winners. You understand?
Yeah.
So then when I got into Winners, like, everything was cool, everything was fine, But I started questioning again. I remember that time, like, I was what was even happening to me then? Yeah, I remember I was depressed. Like, I was just I was just depressed during like 2018 period.
Okay.
Yeah. So, like, I was just depressed. I was like questioning and everything. But hey, like, as a child, like, I was over religious. When it now came to Christianity, I was over religious. I was even going to evangelize and all those things.
Yeah, now you're part of that was sharing the tract.
Yes, and for a great period of time, I thought I used to hear from God. I was one of them. Red flag.
Uh-huh.
I thought I used to hear from God. Yes, you know, and so when I now entered like Oedipus church, everybody was speaking in tongues.
Ew.
So I was not like, I don't understand how, like, why am I not still able to speak in tongues? Like, I don't understand why. Is it that God's or Holy Spirit, or am I doing something wrong? You understand? I remember my
Yeah.
mom took me to meet one of the pastors there and all that. So I was not telling him that, oh, how I hear from God, this one, that one, this one. And I remembered how, like, when I supposedly heard from him, like,
Hmm.
the things I heard were vague.
Okay.
When I started to like really sit down and think about it, these were not like specific things. Like, the things I heard were vague, like, you are a good child, this one, that one, this one. You understand?
Yeah.
So I started going to the church more. Like I want to really hear from you, like something in particular.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because I remember I was that time I was self-harming myself
Hmm.
because like I was really depressed, and I was like, wait, oh God, like, can't you prove yourself or something? You understand?
Yeah.
So I remember I went to go and meet some of the pastors, and I was like, God, if you are really good, I just want you to do something for me. If, as I'm going to meet this pastor, if I ask him where my scar is, because like I had scars from harming myself, so
Okay.
I was not like, if I ask him where my scars are, like, let him know, like, tell him where they are, then like, that was all the proof I needed. You understand?
Yeah.
So I remember I went to meet the pastor. The pastor was telling me that, oh, he hears from God. Yeah, 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 yeah. So I now told him that, okay, it's true now. And I told him that, okay, fine, if you hear from God, ask God this simple question: where is my scar located? He now said, what scar? And I said, ask God. Not be you they hear from God. Ask him.
Baba won't use scope.
you know? Uh, I was like, ask him. Then that's when he now started coming with the whole, you can't question God, you can't. That's when
Mm-hmm.
I just picked up my stuff. I just left. I went back home because I really went to go and think. I was like, no, something is not right.
Mm.
Something is not right.
Mm.
I remember I now went to church the other day. They talked about this part in the Bible where they mentioned and slaves obey your master.
Yeah. The
Or
First
where was it? I
Corinthians,
can't remember.
Isha Corinthians or Timothy. I can't remember which place exactly.
Yeah,
Mm.
that part where they were like,
So
and
and
slaves obey
the
your
part there's before that particular verse is children obey your parents in the Lord for something is what parents usually
yes.
use to cajole their children to be in obedience. My parents used it for us a lot. In that same chapter,
Yes,
that's where the Napu slaves obey your masters. I'm like, the fuck, man.
exactly. So I remember when, and it was even that the GO that mentioned it too.
Mm-hmm.
Because winners, they used to do all night a lot. They do all night a lot, and there's always live stream
Okay.
with Pastor Yeduko. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember he talked about that verse, and I was not like, wait, because I've heard that verse before, but like, this was the first time I actually sat down to really think about it. So I remember after hearing that verse, after the all night, the next day I went to go and ask the pastor, like, wait, these slaves obey your master, like, is it a metaphor? Is it, like, the Bible is speaking in parables and everything, and like, is there another meaning to it? And he was like, no, it's like actual slaves.
Wow.
And I'm not like, wait, so are you saying that Jesus Christ or God, anyone, advocates slavery? Then he was not like, yes, but the slavery was their choice and everything. Then, I was not like, then he not pointed to me by himself the part where he says that it's okay to beat your slaves so far they don't die in a day or two or something like that.
You don't mean it in
And I'm not
Exodus.
like, yes. And I was not like, wait, what are you saying? Like, it does not make any sense. I was not like, is this really in the Bible? How can we be following this when our ancestors are descendants of slavery?
Yep.
Like, that thing just it was itching me. I was like, these are your ancestors, these are your grandparents, like, you know. And then they were not like, no, like they were giving an option and so and so, it's not the same thing. I was like, how is it not the same thing? And they kept on giving me excuses upon excuses. I just got pissed off and I just left. I remember that's when I really started questioning my faith. Because the things in the Bible were not making sense.
Yeah.
Like, apart from that, there were so many other contradictions that did not just make any sense to me. So when I stopped going to church for a while, and then the 2020 pandemic hit, that was when I had time to really investigate things, really do research and all that. So I started doing research, like, how come this person, doesn't want to talk to us, doesn't want to interfere, but he interfered in the past. He had no problem interfering in the past. Upon, giving the whole rule of he won't interfere, but still he interfered in the past in so many people's lives. Solomon, David, so and so. Yeah, like, why isn't he showing himself now?
His camera
That's when I started Abby, incognito mode. Yeah. So that's when I started doing more research, like what is going on. So I joined different groups. I joined different groups on Facebook to debate atheism and Christianity, so on and so forth. And that's when I started seeing the gaps. And that's when I started noticing that all these excuses in the Bible, all these what would you call it? Threats that, there shall be famine, there shall be floods, that people were now using it as a prediction for the coronavirus, that God talked about it and everything.
Okay. End times come.
Yeah. And I started noticing that all these things are actually very vague and they can fit into any situation.
Yes, now every year there's always flood, there's always fire, there's always storm.
There's always something. There's always something. And I started noticing that most of the people who are affected by these things are ladies, women. And I'm not like, why? Upon how the Bible is so misogynistic, why?
I always ask that.
And that's
question.
when, yeah. And I remember when I now really started questioning, like, can I hear from God and everything? I remember one day I told my friend, like, I hear from God and everything. And there was one word that destroyed everything. He was like, have you considered that you may be schizophrenic or something? Yes. I remember I had heard of schizophrenia, but you understand?
Yeah.
So when I went home, I did a full-on research on schizophrenia. And after my full-on research on schizophrenia, I did so much research on the human brain. And my goodness, I realized that a lot of people don't know how powerful our brain is. When you consistently ask for something, your brain kind of gives it to you to make you calm down. Like, I was so shocked I was like, people really don't understand the power of the human brain. All this I'm hearing from God, all this I saw something, I dreamt of this, I'm dreamt of that, is the brain. You want something, your brain will give it to you so you calm down.
Yeah.
Like that's the layman definition of it. You understand?
Yeah.
And exactly. And I now started realizing that wow, maybe many of these people, like many of these people, modern day ancients that were telling all these stories, maybe they did have some psychological problem, but they you just don't know it.
I don't know. No. Back then,
You
person with the
understand? Like
crazy demons.
exactly. And I remember all those times, like I would remember that, oh, I used to see demons, I used to see angels. Yeah, I used to. But like ever since I did that research on schizophrenia and the human brain, I stopped hearing anything. I stopped seeing things because I now realize that I understood how the brain works and it stopped. And that's when I knew that, oh, okay, this is bullshit. And coupled with the fact that these stories were told by shepherds in the middle of the desert.
Yes.
Another thing is that you can get desert fever, I think it's called.
Start saying things.
Where you hallucinate. Yeah, where you hallucinate and all that, lack of water, so and so. I'm like, these are things that like many Christians have not considered to think about at all. And I'm like, wow. It was such an interesting find, honestly. I was just shook. And another thing is I've forgotten what it's called in I think philosophy, where you ignore the misses.
Yeah, like you count the hits and ignore the misses. That's what always happens.
Yes, that kind of thing. You keep on asking for something. Maybe you ask for it 100 times, but that one time that it finally happens, it seems that other 100 times you've forgotten about it.
Praise God.
Yeah, the brain also does that, and many Christians will take that as, oh, God answered them. No, Christians, if you are hearing me, your brain did. Your brain answered you. You answered yourself.
It's your ego,
not God. And I started doing so much research on different fallacies, burden of proof,
straw man,
all those things. And that's when I found atheist experience. atheist experience, rationality rules, dark matter 2525. They helped me answer a lot of questions. And Christians, if you're listening to me, I want you to hear this like little story. So there is a group of people called Mormons, or Church of Latter-day Saints. So yeah. So I don't know their beliefs from back to front, but the basics is that Jesus and Satan they were brothers. And God sent Jesus, if I remember correctly, I'm just paraphrasing, and God told Jesus to go to the earth and I think repopulate and everything. And this Lucifer became, I think he became jealous or something, and then his jealousy turned him into the devil. And they believe that we black people are the people who rebelled against God. Yeah. Should it sounds crazy, but hold on, no. we black people and the funny thing is that they're actually Nigerians that are Mormons.
Wow, I would like to miss them. I've not seen one yet.
Yeah, this are we black people are one of the people that rebelled against God, and the white people are, from Jesus Christ and so on and so forth. So their beliefs is that, rather their own version of heaven. I think they have three heavens. One where I think the extremely good go. One where the middle, you're just there,
Yeah.
you go to. One where people like Hitler,
All the evil people.
all these bad people, rapists, so on and so forth, they go there. It's still heaven, no, but they go there. You understand?
Mm.
And there's this particular heaven that I think where humans now become gods, and they have their own planets, and they now create their own people and everything. Shit, like I've not explained it well. You can go and look at it
I
yourself.
know.
Shit, it sounds
If
crazy.
you play it for a nominal Christian, they will say these ones are batshit crazy.
Exactly. But now, please, I want you to now look at it, Christians. If you're listening to me, I want you to now look at it. A God created two people, puts them inside a garden, and there was a talking snake. Like, remove what they've taught you. Look at it from the perspective that you've never heard this thing before. There's a talking snake. Somebody eats a fruit, gives the fruit to the other person, because the talking snake convinced the two human beings. They now realize that they are naked, and from there, the God comes down, asks, "Why are you naked?" Drives them outside. The snake that had legs now disappeared. You know, like it's like when I say looking at all these things with normal eye, and I'm like, this is just a fantasy story.
So we
Honestly,
even begin to look
it's
past
just fantasy.
Cain and Abel, the generation after. How did they populate
Exactly.
the earth? Then you start beginning to see the flaws.
Exactly. I was asking that question, like how did they populate and everything. I remember somebody was not telling that, oh, there was a group of people already that were there. One
How
pastor told me that. I was
convenient.
like, where does it say so in the Bible? Exactly. I was like, where does it say so in the Bible? Nothing. They are saying that, oh, incest is wrong. Well, how did we come to be?
That's why they had to
You
create those
understand?
people.
I now started looking at I now started also looking at the story of the flood. The story of the flood. How, oh, people doubted what's
Noah.
his name?
Noah.
Noah. People doubted Noah, and the flood killed everyone. And then all the creatures of the earth in two pairs came. How? How did penguins all the way from all the way from the North
As
Pole, they came to Africa?
even
Make it make sense.
the lions, tigers, they are the wild cats. How were they feeding? Because basically almost all the animals then are their
How were
food.
they feeling? Exactly. How? Like, make it make sense. Then I remember I always ask pastors, like, these people that died in the flood, they were also women, they were men, they were children there, they were pregnant women,
Babies.
babies. I'm like, why? Why would God drown them? For what?
You can drown the
And
adults.
like, I remember exactly. I remember Christians will always give me the counter arguments of, oh, if you are a child, or if you are a child rather, sorry, you would end up going to heaven if you die. And I'm like, do you mean that he just created them for the sole purpose of not even having enough time to figure out things? These children had dreams. The unborn children would have had dreams. What are you saying?
His ways are higher
There
than
were
our
parents who loved
ways.
their children. And that's absolute bullshit.
Mm.
That's absolute bullshit. And when the whole coronavirus started, I was not like, why isn't he doing something? There are people dying from this virus. People, like lots of people died. Lots of people died.
Some
I'm
from
like, there are people
hunger.
dying from this virus. Yeah. Then even in Nigeria, itself, the whole like food scarcity because of
The lockdown.
lots of people were not able to work.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and all that. I'm like, why didn't he do something? There were lots of people there who were Christians, and like they served him and everything. I'm like, why aren't you doing something? And they would hit me with the whole don't question God, his ways are mysterious. And I'm like, no, you can't create something that has a brain that is specifically meant to question things. That's how we got to where we are today. We questioned, we were curious. You can't tell me not to question all because of what? Like, what?
Because they don't have answers.
I was pissed off. And because I would always bring up this argument with children, because I know how they can easily dismiss adults and be like, oh, that adult must have committed some sin, blah, blah, blah,
It
blah,
was
blah,
wicked
blah.
in the sight of
So
God.
yes. So I'll always bring children into it. So I remember the kind of arguments I would make up is there are children out there who have been raped. And these children, male boys and girls, they have been raped. And these kids, they were also Christians. They also believed in God. I know how it was like as a kid, how you know like how I was strongly holding religion and trying to always please God, so
Yeah.
and so, you understand.
Yeah.
And I'm like, these children, they believed in God, and I'm sure many of them, when they were getting raped, they were screaming, "Blood of Jesus, Jesus, help me!" I will not ask them, why would he just sit there and look at his own child? Because I will not be like, God is the epitome, the absolute
Father.
he is the highest form of love, right? Yeah, exactly. The absolute father. Why would he just sit there in his shiny fucking throne and look at these kids as they're being raped by adults? I remember I got 3 counter answers. The one, it's an experience that God wanted. I wanted to slap that person. It's others God will not let you suffer what you cannot handle bullshit.
The fuck?
Somebody told me that. Another person told me that God doesn't want to interfere with the free will of the rapist.
Yeah, but you can mess with Pharaoh.
Exactly. And I would always ask them this question. I'll not be like, okay, no problem. But I want to ask you, if your child was being raped in your front, would you just sit there and tell yourself, oh, I don't want to interfere with the free will of the rapist, or it's an experience I want he or she to have to make my child stronger? I would ask them, would you just sit there and do nothing? And they would say no. And I'll be like, that is because you are better than your imaginary friend.
Straight up. Some will even
It's
scatter
very,
the whole
very
conversation so that they won't say yes or no.
Yes, they will they will try and be like, but that's a maybe. I remember one person was like, no, that's a maybe. I'm like, no, it's not maybe. There are recorded cases of these things happening everywhere. What are you saying? And I'm like, okay, well, like these are the questions that made me start, drifting from religion. You understand?
Yeah.
And I would now be like, okay, what about starving kids and kids who know absolutely nothing about religion? There are children out there. In fact, there are people, adults, in some forests, in some places, that they have absolutely no idea what a god is. They don't even hold a belief. They don't even have their own gods. They're just living their lives. And I'm not like, when they die, where do they go to? And I remember somebody was like, I'm sure God will sort it out and everything. I'm like, no, the Bible is the guidebook, Abi. Everything should be written there. Where do they go to?
They will quote Romans, what's that one? For God has written it on our hearts, blah, blah, blah.
That was, if I even have an argument for that, but I'm like, where do they go to? You understand? And they usually don't have answers. And I'm like, are you seeing? Are you seeing? I'll not be like, do you know that the person who killed the most in the Bible is God? Satan only killed like what?
10.
Is it 6 people?
10.
Or 10?
Job's family.
And it was because God said he can go ahead and do what he can. I think it was Job's family.
After making a bet. For no reason.
You know? And people what?
As a bet to destroy Job's life for no reason. For no reason. It's right there in the Bible.
For no reason. And people will now be telling me, you have free will. And I'll be like, the kind of free will you're talking about that the so-called God has given us is this, where you have two roads, but only two roads. You can't get off those two roads. Those two roads were constructed by somebody. One is, let's say they have one road leads to their shop. Maybe they have this really big shopping complex they just made and everything. But everything there, starting price is 10,000 naira. But even if you want to buy sweets, it's 10,000 naira. But that road is very smooth, clear and everything. But the second road now is when you get halfway, it's broken. And it's like, if you pass more than that, you fall into water and you will drown and you will die. But let's say, like beyond that water and everything, there is a supermarket that is very cheap, that everything starts from, like, let's say 10 naira or something. But you have no way of getting to that. Which road would everybody follow?
The one that is not broken.
Is the road that is not broken. And I said, I will not tell them that is exactly how the God of the Bible constructed free will.
Do what I say, or
which at the end of exactly the illusion that you can do what you want but you can't. The illusion that you send yourself to hell and it's not him by you taking that broken road, when he was the one who made that broken road.
The ultimate gaslighter.
The ultimate narcissist. Such a fragile
ego. If you read the Bible, you know, say, I, Yahweh of hosts, I am the Lord your God. I, Yahweh. I'm like, hey God, they should know you already. Like, you don't need to be introducing yourself and praising yourself. Like, how petty and puny are you? Like, I was listening to this podcast, Drunk Bible Study. I'm like, yeah, Jeremiah, I was just like, every small thing, I, Yahweh of hosts said, I, Yahweh. I'm like, man, this guy really has low self-esteem. Fuck.
Exactly.
Man. So now, are you now an agnostic at this point where we are in the story now? When you're asking all these questions, where did you start like with all these funny answers you've been getting?
Agnostic atheist. Like, I was still not sure, but the atheist side made a whole lot more sense to me. So what was keeping me on the fence was I was looking at the whole aspect of juju.
Okay.
You know the way juju is so made to be really scary.
Well, they touch you like this. They're wearing that, touch you for chest. All
those things. So I was at that point. I was already deconstructing the Bible and somewhat deconstructing. Islam. In fact, Islam did not even really need much deconstruct
You
to
didn't
me.
give a fuck
Just some
before now.
few verses I felt like this is just nonsense.
Uh,
You said?
I said you didn't give a fuck before now, so why bother?
So, I just started looking to the whole concept of juju and everything because I was like, what if, juju is real? It's like, mommy water, curses, they throw dagger into the air plus handkerchief, rain will fall. So you understand?
Yeah.
So I was like, how do I confirm? That was one of the questions that kept me agnostic atheist. I was like, how do I confirm? Because with Christianity, Islam, and the rest, like they have their own holy books and everything. So with all this, you don't have book.
No, everything word of mouth.
It's a closed practice. Yeah, it's a closed practice. So I just kept on pondering, like, how do I know this is true? How do I know this is false and everything? I remember asking. There's a Facebook group called Atheist Experience Fan Page.
Okay.
So yeah. So I remember going there asking them like, hey, CCCO, like my country, Juju is Juju is respected more above Christianity.
Yes,
So and then I started getting met with like different answers, and they basically told me that has there been any proof? And I sat down to really think about it, and I was like, actually, no, because all these things I've been hearing from. Yeah, all these things I've been hearing from is just them say, them say, them say, them say. This one happened to my grandmother. Yes, my grandmother will never lie to me. This one happened to my father. Yes, my father will never lie to me, and so on and so forth, so on and so forth.
Yeah,
And
inside boss. Next thing, man, just disappear. Everybody scatter.
Exactly. And I'm not like this. I've never had an experience like that. I've never seen it with my eyes. Even this masquerade itself that are saying spirits are inhabited in, I'm like, there are people inside there. Like I started really looking at the videos. I'm like, there's a person inside there. It's not spirit. There's a person inside there. And then some people will not tell me that, how about this one that they blow powder, you suddenly become mad. That's when I started looking at things at a scientific level again. I'm like, all these powders, what do we know that's inside them? For all we know, they could actually be chemicals that does something to your brain. They are chemicals like that. They won't tell you.
Yeah.
They won't tell you. They are chemicals that if you inhale it, you're on your own. No.
Your brain will just start doing things.
We just start doing things. I'm like, how do we know? We haven't gone to research these things. How do we know? And I'm not like, all these things I'm hearing, it's just always I'm hearing them and hearing them and hearing them. And then I was not like the same question that people would ask, where was God when slavery happened? Where were the Juju men when the Portuguese came to Benin City?
Same question I asked.
Where were they? The great Benin Kingdom, where were the gods?
Juju.
Coronavirus. Exactly. Coronavirus, where were the gods?
Yeah, time to shine.
Protests. Lekki toll gates, where were the gods?
They're in the village. Come to my village and I will show you. That's where the 5G mass today. Yeah.
And I was not like, these things are just made up stories. They are made up stories. And because, another thing I also considered was that the people that could have that claimed to experience these things, they could have been paid to say so. They could have been paid to act. That is another thing we have to put into consideration.
Possible.
Just the same way in all these churches, that, raise somebody from the dead or heal somebody or devil is talking and everything, they are paid or they have mental problem.
Oyakidome uncle. Power of the Holy Ghost.
They are paid.
Or they are just confused.
Yeah, exactly. So when I really sat down to think about all these things, do research on the brain, do research on psychology, philosophy, be skeptical about things. That's when I fully branched out from agnostic atheist to atheist.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you are now is it the de facto atheist? Me, I usually call it, according to this scale that Richard Dawkins drew up in that his book, The God Delusion, where de facto atheist, you don't believe the God claim, and it's highly probable that there's no God. That's where you can, but you can't be 100% sure about anything, no matter how you claim to be sure. You can't be 100% sure about anything. So I usually, okay, I'm a de facto atheist. No time for serene. I don't believe until you prove it. Thank you.
Yeah. And another thing is that even if the Christian God, because people have asked me like, oh, what if the Christian God, like what if I die, or what if he comes to life, or something, and I find out that he is real. I tell people that even if he is real, I know he is not, but even if he is real, I would still not worship that man-slaughtering monster.
You'd be terrified.
I would not.
I would be terrified.
And I think he owes everyone. I would tell him to get on his knees, beg me for forgiveness, beg all of us for forgiveness.
Yeah.
That's not a so-called God that deserves worship. That created human beings just so he wouldn't be bored.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because no matter how you look at it, that's just it.
That's it now.
They say, oh, he could. I think there's one part of the Bible where they say, oh, he could raise rocks.
He should raise rocks.
To praise his name.
You should go ahead.
Exactly.
Don't fucking stress my throat.
Raise it.
It's just gaslighting technique.
Yeah.
Just like this, as you're describing this God now, I always like to ask it. I always like to ask, like, every time it's always referred to as His Heavenly Father. Our Father who art in heaven.
Yes.
Yeah, and we know fathers are men, and men have penis. Does your God have a penis? Does your God have a
exactly.
penis? Like,
and they'll be like, no, he's a spirit.
That's the way that's how I now is like, this is just a concussion of bloody men that is represents the ego of the men of those times. That is what Yahweh is. Yahweh represents bloody goat headers who were misogynistic. The God is everything that they were. They created God in their image. That was the conclusion. Then they're saying He is. Why couldn't it have been a female? Hell no, women are property according to them. So their God cannot be female. So it has to be a strong man, a father figure. It's fucking bullshit. So now
it's honestly really sad.
Now you're an atheist. Who knew first? Who knew you were an atheist first in your family?
Yeah.
Or they don't know yet?
I haven't told them that I am an atheist, but I've told my auntie that I am agnostic atheist.
Okay.
I've told my auntie. My mom, I haven't told my mom, but like she knows I'm not going to church. She knows that like I've been having questions, so I think she has put two and two together. But I don't want to tell her anything until I leave the house.
Yeah, very, very important. Very important. Just like me some days ago, my father followed me on Clubhouse. I was like, what? Nigga, please. Nigga, block. It's too early for this.
Yeah. Me, the people that know are my friends.
Okay.
And the people that I'm meeting now, I just tell them that, see you, atheist, so take it or leave it.
And that's their reaction. Those people that you meet, especially how Edo people, how do they react?
I would say being an atheist over here, it's a cruise.
How do you mean? How do you mean?
It's a cruise. So, like, I would tell them, I especially get this reaction from men, like this really harsh reaction. So, like, if I tell them that, I'm an atheist, like, they start insulting me and cursing me and doing, like, they start saying something like "wagwai" or something
What does that mean?
like that. It's one very strong cause. I think it means whether you're stupid or something. But there's a way it's just very strong.
Do they know what an atheist is? Because I'm not sure they do for that kind of reaction. Your reaction should have been, their reaction is normally a question like why, how. Someone that knows what an atheist is.
Okay, yeah, some know what it is, then some used to ask me like what it is, but they will still go ahead and like insult me, that kind of thing, and tell me that I would never find the husband, I would never, I'm like, I look like a very nice person. And I'm like, how does, and I said that the Bible does not give me my morality. I can be a nice person without the Bible. I can be a moral person without the Bible.
It's always that husband part that trips me off. Like, okay, marriage is the reward for women, or man, it is. It's an ideology that needs to be flushed out of this our system. And the problem with that ideology is a lot of women have bought it. They aspire to be wives. Like, it's a fucking achievement.
Yeah, and
it's what's giving the power to men steady, man. And it's making them treat women anyhow. Yeah, that's why it's always who will marry. Because me, I've not heard that question of who will marry you. The rest is you know well. That's it, your head no correct. That's it, are you okay? What do you mean by that? How will you say that? That's it, you know well. That's always what I get. The last person I told, I said, okay, me, I know be Christian again. Say, are you watching me? I said, but I'm an atheist. He said, that's it, you know where. How will you say there's no God? They say, who created you? Who created you? They do, and the whole idea, they won't even reason marriage. But if it's a woman that says that, immediately they always default to marriage. And having that experience, that one made me to understand that, okay, no wonder. Most of the time, I just wonder that why is it that the loud voices of atheism is usually guys? Why are women not always also as loud? I know there are women atheists. And I said that the struggle, the struggles are on a different level. As a guy, I still have that privilege. There's a lot of the first struggle of patriarchy that women have to fight by default. Because when women lose that religious chain, they immediately see that these fucking penis readers have been oppressing us with this with this ideology. So it's a double struggle, and it can be very stressful at times. So that means to another the work is serious.
It's really quite It's really quite sad. I'm always met with that, and usually when I just start talking to someone, be it a girl or a guy, and like we're just flowing, we're vibing, and I tell them that, and instantly they just like, how can you, this one, that one. And I don't even really get irked or annoyed when I hear it from men. I get like very annoyed when I hear it from fellow ladies like me, when they be like, I will marry you. How can you not believe this? What will you teach your children? And I'm like, why does my existence as a lady have to be surrounded by marriage and kids?
Yeah, so that is
I personally first of all, I don't even know whether I want to have kids. That's one thing.
Yeah, I would like to have kids, but marriage is not on the table.
Yeah. Me, I can
when you get to that bridge, you will cross it. No need to rush yourself, because
but the whole idea of like my existence just being centered around having kids, getting married, having a husband and taking care of that husband and everything. It's very annoying. Outside that, I am my own person.
That is what
And
we need to
people
teach
don't
you.
like to listen to me because, yeah, people don't like to listen to me because they're like, oh, what does she know? After all, she's 20 years old. She's a small girl. And I'm like, yo.
Ageism is part of our culture here.
Yeah.
I had a colleague here in the office. He's over 40. We're kind of close now. So it was on this argument of religion. One that just questioned, then he just blurted out, hey, am I your mate? I was like, what the fuck do you mean? Is it because you came to this world before me? What do you think I respect you because of your age? You've asked someone this question, you think I respect you because of your age? No, because I thought you had sense. Now you're bringing up age. Man, fuck that age. Almost that day you have been keeping malice with me. Grown ass motherfucking 40-something-year-old idiot. I say, look at you. You call yourself mature. They are keeping malice. Sorry for you. Grown ass man. Took it to heart. Tiny ego.
It's really sad. I wish the whole knowledge about what atheism is reaches people more and more people start to deconversion.
It's small. That's why we're here.
What?
I said it's small. That's why I'm doing what I'm doing. Somebody did this for me, so I'm doing it for whoever it work for.
And I appreciate it. I remember when I just got on Anchor, so I was just looking for. My friend made a podcast just rants about stuff.
Okay.
So I was looking for another podcast to listen to. So I was looking for something that contained atheism content or something. So I remember I searched and your name always came up. So I now decided to click it. I thought it was going to be a white person. I was surprised it was in Nigerian. I was like, wow. I was very happy to this day. I'm very happy. I've been telling people come and see your podcast, listen.
Thank you for sharing the word.
Love what you do.
We need to in fact, I need to lose my leverage, the itch to do videos. Because what I notice is Nigerians like a face to the voice. When you come with full confidence and call their God a bastard with your face right there, they begin to abuse you. They'll now enter comment and be abusing you then. Start going viral. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's been good having hearing your story, Efua. I really appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll have some more discussions maybe on our clubhouse rooms. Try and show up. I think we'll have one tomorrow, Sha. If you have the chance, from 8 to 9 p.m. if you can, Sha.
Yeah, no problem.
Mm-hmm. So thank you for coming.
Okay. By the way, I remember on your podcast you ask if we have sources that people could check out.
Okay. Do you have any? Yes. Please share some resources.
For my Muslims out there, for my Muslims that are questioning, for my Muslims that left atheism and all that, I have something for you, especially if you're a Muslim and you're questioning. Check out this YouTube channel called The Apostate Prophet.
I was waiting for that. That guy.
Yeah. So it's kind of like the Muslim version of the atheist experience. I think you guys would really love it. And it would help answer your questions and all that. Please check it out. For those that are looking for logic to defeat the Bible, check out Rationality Rules.
Mm-hmm.
The guy uses lots of why I like it is because he states the different fallacies in the Bible. He takes different verses and different videos of preachers on Christians have made certain comments, and he just destroys it constructively. He would list the fallacies and explain what those fallacies means, and he would tell you a logical, it give a logical comeback that like you can't. There's no way that you can just defeat it. Like it is just common sense. And like if you don't want to accept it, then it's just you don't want to accept it, not that it's wrong. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
So apocalypse prophets, rationality rules. I like dark matter 2525. It's atheist experience. If you're a Christian, if you don't get triggered a lot. In fact, if you get triggered a lot, yes, please watch atheist experience.
I mean, I even get triggered now. The dumbass callers, they always trigger me. Like almost every time I am mad when they say, get the fuck off.
You'll be like, stop talking.
Mute them, shut up.
Yeah. He's trying, he's been doing that for years and he's trying.
That's why his patience has reduced. I watch old videos, he's still more patient. He's less patient. The guy has heard the same questions over and over again.
I swear. And lastly, for those of you who have gone through trauma because of religion, whatever religion you were in, Christian, Muslim, or if you're still in that religion and you're going through trauma, maybe, how Juju has made all of us so scared, or how, like there are some ways that some religions like really put trauma into people that they're so scared and so terrified. The channel I would suggest for you guys it's called Recovering from Religion.
Okay.
You can actually schedule a call with them, like a website call with them. They would talk to you, they would answer your questions, they would also deconstruct how this and this is invalid. They would listen to your issues. They are white people, but they do a really good job. You can also look at their YouTube channel, the videos they have. It's all very interesting.
Nice.
For those of you who are LGBTQ, I am too, by the way.
Nice.
I'm on that. Yeah. Hello?
What do you recommend?
Okay. Secular. It's called Secular Atheism.
Okay.
Sorry.
It's a YouTube channel.
Secular Atheism.
Or secular sexuality?
Yes. Secular sexuality. Sorry. Yes, that's.
It's an ACA show now.
Secular sexuality.
Is it an ACA show? Just like an atheist experience, their network?
Yeah, ACA show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I listen to it.
And if you want to know more of these channels, you can check Atheist Experience. Go to the channel section. You see them listed there. So many. Pick the ones that you like. It's a network. Yes.
Only if we could replicate that in Nigeria.
Small, slowly getting.
Now funds. First of all, we need to form a coalition, but we need funds.
Yeah, we do need funds.
But we need to come together first of all. The problem is this country is not. It doesn't look like a place one would want to stay for long.
At all. At all.
Thank you for listening to this episode. Please subscribe. Apple, Spotify, Google, or wherever you get your podcast. Then I noticed something. If you listen on Apple Podcasts, please feel free to put feedback. Give it 5-star ratings and give a feedback. Thank you very much. Have a lovely week and take care.